Hello, welcome to Ranch of Rivershine. This is not the only game we are going to look at, but this is what we're starting with. This video is going to be about the control systems of various horse games. And only horse games, so not Red Dead in this one, though I do like some of the controls in Red Dead, but we're going to be covering 3 games, unless I can think of more. Firstly, we're starting in Ranch of Rivershine. Now, you should be able to see my mouse and some keystrokes. I am using a program called Noboard. That's Nohboard. It's on GitHub. I basically just Googled how to show what keys you're pressing when in videos, and I found a helpful video that also had a written guide. I've lost that one, but you can just look up Noboard. It's pretty easy to use. So anyways, so you can see my mouse move, you can see when I click, you can see when I press some keys. So that should help you get an idea of the control systems for these games. So first, we're starting off in Ranch of Rivershine. We're going to start off with the control system on foot. So the camera always moves when you move the mouse. Oh, by the way, we're also only covering mouse and keyboard. We are not covering controller, because also only one of these games has controller support. So I might make a different video on how I think a controller system should work, but this is for mouse and keyboard. Because this is going to be a video talking about what I like and dislike about a few different horse games. So we're starting off with Ranch of Rivershine. We are on foot. When you move the mouse, the camera always moves. You do not have to press, or you pressing any buttons does not change that. You can zoom in. It is the zooming in is so slow. Do you hear that? That's me trying to go in and out, and it is so slow compared to one of the other games we will be comparing it to. It takes a lot of it. It's really annoying. I hate it. So when you go into first person, it turns the person around. I'm going to be making people nauseated with this. I sincerely apologize. But so that's first person, and then you just press forward and you steer with the mouse. And basically the same when you're in third person. You press forward, you steer with the mouse. So the controls first person and third person are not really different on foot, and they're really not that different on a horse either. Speaking of, let's go grab a horse. Let's grab the fully trained horse. Oh, also, I don't know that this is something I'm going to cover, but if you tap shift, then you sprint and you have stamina. That was a recent addition to this game. All right, so you get on a horse, and so there are 2 different control schemes for being on a horse. The first one is you control the direction you go with the mouse. I hate this. Apparently a lot of people like it, so I'm glad it's an option, but I despise this with every part of my being because it wears out my wrist, and I can't. No. No, and it makes me dizzy because I don't like, for me personally, I do not like the camera turning with the horse all the time, and we'll talk more about that later. So as you can see, the camera is locked behind the horse. If you can see my keys, I am pressing to try to turn. It doesn't turn. Now if you tap Alt, it activates free cam, which puts it in the mode that I use, where the horse is controlled with the keys. All right. Now again though, moving the mouse always moves the camera. All right. Tap Alt, it goes right back to the other. What I will say for this is I do like just a toggle to switch between them. That is something that I do genuinely like about this game, is that you don't have to open a menu and go into settings and be like, oh, well, I want to do this version of this. I like that it is a single, that's not what I meant to do. I like that it is a single button press to switch between, there we go, with this mode, and now we're in this mode. All right. Now again, just like on foot, the scrolling is so slow. Now I do like that you can scroll in and out to change your view a little bit. That is great, and all 3 of the game, Oh, we're going to talk about 4 games. Sorry, my bad. 3 of the 4 games have that. The one that doesn't have it, oh, makes me so angry. Do not like. So I wish the scrolling was more sensitive. I don't want to up the sensitivity of my own scroll wheel because that will mess with the rest of my computer. So I really wish, it takes so much work. It wears out my hand. So we'll talk about the other game that I really like that has the scroll wheel feature that works exactly like this, but it's way more sensitive, and you can just instantly, really easily switch from being zoomed completely in to being zoomed completely out on the other one. Whereas this takes forever, and it's bad. That's bad. It's good feature, bad implementation there. So right now we're in the free cam first person. Now I'm going to take my hand off the mouse, and you might notice a bit of a glitch in the matrix here. The camera stays still when you're in free cam. So it's going to wear out your hand trying to turn with the horse. So really in first person, even though I hate this control method, it's really better to just steer with your mouse because it's going to line up better and not make you quite as dizzy. Or me, I say you, I mean me. It's not going to make me quite as dizzy trying to keep the mouse even with my steering of the horse, and it's not going to strain my brain trying to keep those the same. So I don't play in first person, but the few times that I do occasionally, I always go ahead and go into this mode. So good ideas here, but and we'll talk more about this, but I do wish that the mouse didn't completely control the camera all of the time because I want to be able to just keep the camera still for a little bit without taking my hand off the mouse. So we'll talk more about that, but that is the control scheme for this game. I don't think there is anything else to talk about here. So we are going to go into the next game, and I will be back in a moment. Okay, here we are in the game that I think camera-wise has my least favorite control scheme, despite the fact that it does have some things that I really like, we'll get to it. This one makes me nauseated to play for too long because of the way that the camera works, and it makes my hand tired, and we'll get to why. So this one of the 4 games is just a really difficult one for me, camera-wise. We started off on foot last time. Let's do on foot this time. So there are not different modes in this game as far as I know. Let's go ahead and look at the settings. So you can change the sensitivity of the camera, and you can change the distance of the camera in the field of view. You can also change whether the camera moves when you jump, which is good. But aside from that, can I make the... Whoa. Well, that's a bit more like it used to be. Okay. So you can change whether the camera follows the horse when you jump, which is good because that can make people nauseated. And you can change the distance here. And see, this is one of my complaints, is that you saw in Rancho Rivershine, you scroll in the game to change the distance. And that is perfect, beautiful, love it. This is the only game of the 4 games we're going to talk about that doesn't have that. Which is one of the reasons, one of a few reasons, that this is my least favorite game of the camera controls. And this is specifically about camera controls. This is not a judgment on any other aspect of the game, not even the actual steering or anything, which we are going to talk about that too, but this is just camera controls. All of the settings are here, and you can't do anything about the settings actually in the game. So you see I'm scrolling the wheel, nothing. And it's the same on the horse. There's nothing. Now, yeah, okay. Can you, did I not turn with, Okay, so... Alright, well, anyways. I just learned something. So you right-click, hold it to turn the camera. If you don't do that, the camera auto-focuses behind you. And this is on foot and on the horse, but we're going to start out on foot just because. So you can do the free cam, but you have to be holding right-click to do the free cam, okay? And you can toggle between walking and running with shift when you're on foot, which that is nice. But yeah, you have to be holding right click. Oh, I did turn a little bit with, okay, I didn't do that, right? Okay, well, we'll see how it works on the horse. So that's on foot. And then, see, I made the UI bigger and now everything's blurry. But at least it's back to what it was before the update. All right, now we get on horse, and without touching the mouse, the camera is gonna focus behind the horse. So if I spin, it's gonna spin with us. And that's the default. There is no way to change that other than to hold right click. And now the horse can spin, and I have to hold right click, keep my hand on the mouse in order to not spin with it. I let it go, it starts spinning. So that is why this is my least favorite camera control system, because even though I do like holding right click to move the camera, I like that. You know, don't get me wrong, that is my favorite thing in these games, is hold right click, move the camera. But what I want is when the horse is moving, and we'll show this when we get to the next game. Are you not gonna? Well, there it goes. What I want is when the horse is moving, I don't have to hold right click in order to keep the camera still. The camera should stay still when I'm not holding right click, and be a free cam when I'm holding right click. So I don't want it to, I want it to be more like Ranch of Rivershine, where if my mouse is not moving, the camera is not moving, but I want it to be optional. And we'll kind of talk about that when we get to Astride, the fourth game we're going to talk about. But basically, this wears me out. The way this works is, because of the way I play, I always have to hold right click in this game. I always do, because I can't deal with this. It makes me so dizzy for the camera to constantly be following right behind me. I can't handle all of that spinning. So therefore, I have to hold down right click all the time in this game. And that is terrible. It wears out my finger. And I just don't want to have to do that. So I would like for this to be an option to switch between. So you hold right click, you can move the camera. You don't hold right click, and imagine I'm not holding right click right now, and the camera stays still in relation to the player, and yeah, I forgot exactly what I was going to say. But yeah, so imagine I'm not holding right click right now. The camera just stays there in relation to the player. And then maybe there's a toggle, and then there you go. The camera is now following behind the player instead of staying stationary. Okay, so those are the three options that I want for mouse and keyboard. Things could be different for controller. I think they probably should be different, but I don't necessarily know what the answer to that would be right now. I need to do a bit more research about like Red Dead, because that's the game I use a controller for. None of these games except for Astride has controller support. So I'm not offering an exact opinion on that at this time. So yeah, I do not like that the camera just moving right behind me all the time is the only thing you can do without holding right click in this game. My finger is already worn out. I hate it. Okay, we are going to move on to the next game. Okay, so if Star Stable was my least favorite camera control, this is my favorite. Oh, I didn't talk about the actual horse controls, but really this is about camera controls. Oh, there's a horse to catch over there. Okay, I'm gonna have to resist. Okay, so start off on foot. Firstly, look at this. You zoom in and out, and it's so fast and smooth and easy. I don't normally do it on foot, but yeah. Now, okay, well, let's show you the settings. Is third person, classic third person camera. Camera does not rotate with player. I'm not going to show that one, this without that check marked, because I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It's bad. Was there a horse over here? Did a horse die and I didn't know? No. Okay. No. I just must have forgotten to put it there. Or I took it off. Okay. Sorry. Distracted. Okay. So I wouldn't actually call this classic third person, because if it was classic third person, then how it would work is the top of the screen would be always W, and then when you press this is not classic third person, but this is my favorite type of third person. Now you notice I'm not moving the mouse at all, and the camera is stationary. I'm not having to hold down a button, but the camera is staying in the same place relative to me, not turning or anything. It's staying in the same place. Now I will say this game could benefit from having the option of a follow, where it does, like, I'm going to do it manually, but where it does like stay behind you. I do think that would be a good option for this, but I like that that's not the default. It would be a nice option, but that's not, as we saw with Star Stable, I don't like for that to be the only option without, having to hold down a button. Now, the thing you do have to hold down a button for is moving the camera. You do that to activate the free cam, okay? So there's a stationary cam, that faces the same, north. Why is my computer suddenly making noise? Okay. You shush. Go to sleep. So the camera is always going to face that direction, no matter which direction I face, until I hold down right click, and then I can change it, and then I can do that. And it is the same. Why did I click that? It's the same on the horse. So I can run in circles, and it is not going to make me dizzy, because the camera is not following the horse. It is just staying, I mean, obviously it is focused on the horse, but it is not staying in the same relative position to the horse. It's staying in the same relative position to the direction that I put it. I need to figure out a better way to explain that, but hopefully you can see. And then, I can spin the camera myself. Again, I think a camera follow option would be good, but I, as we've seen with Star Stable, it also can be bad if that is the only option without having to hold down a button. So I do wish that there was a toggle where the button could. I'm sorry, I keep losing my train of thought. I do wish there was a toggle so that, like, you could press a button and then, wow, the camera is staying in the same relative position to the horse. That's me doing it manually because it's not an option here, but yeah, so, but I like this because it means that I can run around and not actually get very dizzy, and I don't have to manually, I don't have to do anything to keep myself from getting dizzy. It doesn't take any work on my part. My hand's off the mouse, and I can just run, and it's fine. And we're going to catch this horse. Now I'll also show it's the same for on foot or on the horse. Is you zoom in and you go into first person. I should have shown. I missed that. I usually can get them first try. I was thrown off. I should have shown in Star Stable that there is no option for that. Now, I also kind of like in this game, you notice when I zoom in and then I zoom out, I'm in the same position as I was. I wonder if, yeah, so you zoom in, you turn around, now you're facing that way. So the camera, even when you're zoomed in, it remembers what direction your third person camera was facing. That's really cool. So then I can just turn it as needed to go in whatever direction I want. I don't have to, I don't know what I don't have to do. I don't know where I was going with that sentence, but yeah, I can just turn the camera as needed instead. Oh, I don't have to fight the game to keep the camera where I want. The camera is going to stay where I put it until I move it. But again, I do think an option for having a following camera so that it stays right behind you would be good for the classic third person. I guess I should show what it looks like not classic third person. Okay, so you for this you do hold right click to activate the free cam, and then see, you can control the horse with the mouse, which and then it does do that. So I do wish that there was a toggle, as we kind of talked about with okay, I hate this control system, and that's gonna make me dizzy. But I do wish that, like with Star Stable, I don't like that all of the camera controls are locked behind a menu. I do wish that these were things that you could just press a button and you could switch between. That would be very nice. Just like Ranch of Rivershine. Ranch of Rivershine has no camera controls that are locked behind a menu. They are all in the game itself. You just, you tap a button or you zoom in and out and it changes that. So we are gonna turn that off because that sucks. But yeah, it would be, okay. It would be nice if that was an in-game control and not a menu control. I think the fewer menu camera controls, the better in some ways, if it's something that people might want to switch between. Like, I do like switching between on Ranch of Rivershine, even though I was, bad-mouthing it a lot, I do like to switch between the free cam and the steer with the mouse in Ranch of Rivershine occasionally. Not very often because I don't really like it, but I do occasionally. So again, the things that I like about this is, in the classic third person in Horse Isle 3, is this is not free cam mode right here. The camera is not moving, okay? But my horse is moving. Camera is just following. It is staying focused on the horse, but it is still facing the same direction no matter what I do, until I hold down right click and then I can move that. And now I can see different stuff, but then I can let it go. I don't have to keep it pressed. And now I'm just facing this direction. Okay, and then I can do that, and then there we go. So it makes it where I can very easily control the motion of the camera so that I don't get nauseated, but also, unlike Star Stable, I apologize if I occasionally say the wrong name. Hopefully y'all will understand which game I mean. So unlike Star Stable, I don't have to constantly hold the button in order for the camera not to turn. I can just take my hand completely off the mouse and I can run. Look at this. I can run towards the camera, and it's not going to turn around on me. The camera will not change direction until you press a button. And again, I do wish that there was a toggle. Is that a horse or a deer? That's a horse. I do wish that there was a toggle so that I could make the camera lock behind the horse without having to go into a menu or anything. But as far as camera controls go, this is my favorite horse game. Hands down, favorite horse game. I will say Red Dead Redemption is not a horse game, but the camera controls on that are pretty decent too. I may make a video about that, but that's a much bigger game that I would have to load. It took long enough for me to load up Star Stable. So yeah, we're not going to do Red Dead Redemption right now, because these are really the three games that I really wanted to contrast. And also with Red Dead Redemption, I use a controller. So again, these are games that I am not using a controller for. Now I'm regretting turning off my computer because that had my notes on it. But I think that covers the 3 games I wanted to talk about before we get to Astride. So let's get to Astride. Hello, editing me here. That's what YouTubers say, right? I'm a real YouTuber. I realized I'd forgotten to talk about the first-person controls in Horse Isle when I was rewatching the Ranch of Rivershine part. I realized that Horse Isle and Ranch of Rivershine have a big difference in their first-person horse controls. So you notice the camera stays in the same place relative to the horse, no matter what my camera settings are for being in third person. When I go into first person, it looks straight in between the ears of the horse, and it stays there. I can move the camera a little bit, and it will stay there when I turn. I can hold down right click, and it will recenter the camera. So yeah, I can turn mostly around, and it'll just stay there. Now if I zoom out, zoom back in, it resets it back between there. And like if I try to move the camera while holding right click, it fights me and it tries to keep me in the middle. And I think execution-wise that could be done a little bit better, but I don't really have any complaints. I think that the first-person horse camera controls are very good. So that's all I wanted to say. Back to past me. Okay, welcome to Astride. Now, caveat, I do understand that Astride is very early in development, but these are my thoughts on the controls as they stand, and then we will get to what I want them to be, though having watched the previous 3 parts, maybe you can guess what I want for them to be. But let's start with it now. To start, the first person, when you're off the horse, right now there is not an option for third person. Let me make sure the no board is recording. Yep. Okay. There is not an option for third person. Now, that presumably is going to change. They've talked about first person and third person being an option. And, you know, first person controls right now, fine. It's fine. Now you get on the horse and your only option is third person. Okay? Now, let's start with the really good. Okay, well, never mind. I guess we're going to start with the bad. While, of course, you know that I love to be able to zoom in and out, and that not be hidden behind a menu like it is on Star Stable, you also might notice this is very laggy, or it's very slow and unresponsive, very much like Ranch of Rivershine. So my suggestion here would be increase the sensitivity or make it, oh, they might have scroll sensitivity. Okay, well, okay, 10 might be a bit much. Never mind. Feedback rescinded. Good job, Astride. See, I think Astride could really do good controls, okay? Oh, there. All right. Criticism rescinded. I know that was just added in like one of the most recent updates. So yeah, hell yeah. I'll even give that a hell yeah. Oh, evil laugh. I love it. Yes. Okay, so no feedback. Scroll wheel, perfect. Love it. I love that you can control how sensitive you want it to be. Perfection. Chef's kiss. Mwah. Beautiful. Thank you, Astride. Love you. Okay. So, yes. So, obviously, you can scroll in and out to control the distance. I would suggest being able to scroll out a little bit more, have a little bit more view. I don't know why this feels a little close, but maybe it's just because I'm used to Horse Isle, where you can zoom out so far. I'm not sure I showed the full depth that you can scroll out. But yeah, I love this. I love being able to scroll in and out, and to have increased the sensitivity. Oh, that is chef's kiss, lovely, beautiful. And then each player can decide how sensitive they want the scroll wheel to be. That is great, because going too fast might make people dizzy. So I love that. 10 out of 10. Astride. There is no first person. If I had my druthers, do people say that? I got that from my parents. Does that make me sound old? If I had my druthers, obviously I would like for you to be able to do like Horse Isle and Ranch of Rivershine, where you zoom all the way in and then you're first person. They probably don't have first person coded in yet, and this is a placeholder character, so they might be holding off on doing a really good first person until they actually have the character, because I'm sure it's going to take a bit of work to implement making it first person with a particular character, or however they have the character programmed. So, I'm not criticizing them not having first person on the horse yet. I'm just saying that when they do implement first person on the horse and third person on the ground, because I don't like being forced into first person on the ground, then I would like it if obviously I'm partial to Horse Isle 3's system, and by extension Ranch of Rivershine system, because they have the same thing of you scroll all the way in and then there you go, you're first person. But I also would not be opposed, and this might actually, honestly, I think some games could benefit from this, and Red Dead uses this, where you have a hotkey. You click it and now you're in first person. You have a hotkey, you click it. I guess it's not a hotkey, but you know what I mean. It's a toggle between the two. Of you click this button, now you're in first person. You click this button, now you're in third person. I think the important thing with that is to make sure that it remembers how far out you are. So if you're zoomed all the way out and you click the first person button, and then you go back to third person, it needs to remember how far out you were zoomed and not make you have to zoom again, because that could be very fatiguing on the finger. And that's a big problem I have, like with Star Stable, of having to hold down a certain button, or Ranch of Rivershine with Star Stable having to hold down the right click in order for the camera not to turn around when I don't want it to. And then Ranch of Rivershine, it really fatigues my finger to have to scroll in and out, and it'd be so slow and unresponsive. So yeah, just my advice, if you're going to do a key bind for switching between first and third person, remember where the camera was, both direction and directional settings, and we'll get to that, and distance, in order to keep people from having to reset it every time they go from first person to third person. Because I don't know if you noticed, maybe I didn't show it very well when I was showing Horse Isle 3, but I switch between first person and third person all the time. Like when I'll go horse hunting, I'll be in third person, I'll see a horse, I'll go to first person, and it would be nice if there was a key bind for that instead of having to scroll in and out. I do like the scrolling in and out to do it, but I'm not sure that really is the best way. It's just kind of the only way in a lot of the games that I play, except, like I said, Red Dead Redemption 2 has a hotkey. I keep saying hotkey, but it is a key bind. You know what I mean. It's a button you press, and then it cycles through all of the different camera locations. So it starts farther out, goes a bit farther in, goes a bit farther in, and then suddenly you're first person. I don't necessarily like that. I don't like the cycling between the cameras, but I do kind of like the idea of there being a specific button you press to switch between first person and third person. Okay, moving on from all that. So the way the camera works, you might notice I am not pressing any button right now, not on my keyboard, not on my mouse. So the way that this game works right now is it is always in free cam mode when your mouse is moving. I do not like that, but we'll get to that. Now let's start the horse moving, and now I have lifted my mouse up off of the mouse pad, and I am holding right click, as you can see, and that activates the follow camera, we'll call it. I don't know if there's really a better word for it, but that's what they're calling it. But it's the camera that locks it in the same place relative to the horse. So I let it go, and then I'll hold it. So you see what I mean. Now okay. Then there's also, you can tap C and it turns it on. You tap C, it turns it off. Okay, so that's how that works. Now let's talk about the problems with that. So I have a really big problem with it being right click to activate the follow camera, because that means I have to keep it means that it's gonna move. Like if I'm keeping my hand on the mouse and holding down a button, moreover, that's gonna move a little bit. Like I have muscle twitches and stuff, and that's gonna move. So in order to do the free cam, that means I really need to tap C and then do that. But then that still means I have to like take my hand off of the mouse, which is not necessarily a good thing. So my ideal, of course, would be that instead of holding right click to activate the follow camera, it's hold at right click to activate the free camera. So my ideal would be, okay, I've taken my mouse off of the mouse pad, but my ideal would be that this is the default. The camera does not move unless you're pressing a button. That's not how it works right now, but this is just me saying how I want it to work. So imagine I'm not pressing a button, but imagine I am moving my mouse, but nothing's moving, okay? So I'm moving my mouse. I'm not, but just pretend with me. I'm moving my mouse, but nothing is moving. Now, I'm holding right click. Well, imagine I'm holding right click, and now the camera is moving, okay? So that's my ideal, is not pressing anything, but I could move my mouse, the camera doesn't move. Now, I hold right click, I can move the camera, okay? All right, so that's my ideal. I do like the C to toggle the follow camera. That's great. I just wish that if that was activated, then moving my mouse wouldn't, move it. Now, I wouldn't even be opposed. I'll tell you, I wouldn't even be opposed if there was a separate toggle, really, that would activate and deactivate the free cam. Do I have the follow on? I do. So, like, I wouldn't mind if this, me not moving my mouse without doing anything, just moves the camera, but then maybe I press a button and then it deactivates the mouse. And so like, I wouldn't mind that, but I really like the horse aisle method and the star stable method. Now, obviously, I have problems with the star stable defaulting into the follow camera, but I don't mind holding right click to move the camera. That's fine. I just want for the camera not to move until I click a button or tell it to move. I don't want it to move when I accidentally bump the mouse or anything. Now, also something that Astride is missing right now is the proper location of a follow camera. So, like, I can put it there, but also I could bump the mouse and put it in the wrong spot, So if they do need like a hotkey, or I keep saying hotkey, that's probably not the right term, but they do need a key that you press that will position the camera in behind the horse or something, and then let you follow behind the horse instead of it just going wherever you put the mouse. There needs to be predetermined locations for the follow camera. So those are my feedbacks. Yeah, let me see if I can wrap this up in a concise way. So, obviously, I love the zoom in, zoom out. It would be nice if you zoom all the way in and you go to first person. Obviously, first person is not implemented yet for being on the horse, but I would like it if you zoom all the way in, you become first person when things are completed. It also would not be a bad thing to have a button to switch between first and third person, as long as it remembers where the camera was when you were in third person, so that you don't have to readjust. And all the settings that we talked about of like the follow camera and everything, it would be really good if you switch between first and third person, it remembers all of that, and you don't have to reset it every time you switch between, because as we saw or I don't know, again, I'm not sure if I showed it, but I switch a lot on Horse Isle because sometimes I need to see things in first person and sometimes I need to see things in third person. So that's for my first third person, that's my suggestion. And for the third person, I want what's happening right now on the screen, to happen regardless of my mouse movement. I want the camera to be static in the direction it's facing, not relative to the horse, relative to the world. So it's facing out towards the lake. No matter which way I move my horse, and no matter which way I move my mouse, I want that to be the default. Okay? So imagine I'm shaking my mouse all over the mouse pad right now, but nothing moves. Okay? Then I hold a button, or I toggle or something, you know, I click something, whether it's holding down a button or toggling between things, and now, the camera's gonna move. Okay, so this is the free cam. I'm holding a button or I've toggled something, and that is the free cam. Okay, but then I do like the toggle for the follow camera. However, well, the problem is right now you move the mouse and it moves that. So imagine now I'm moving the mouse all around, but that's not affecting anything. The camera is following the horse, or it's doing the follow, where it's staying in the same position relative to the horse instead of relative to the world. Okay, so now I'm moving my mouse. Imagine I'm moving my mouse all over the place, but it's still it's not affecting the camera. Okay. What was the other thing? Yeah, I guess that's about it. Is I do not want the camera to be affected by the mouse, except for when I want it to be affected by the mouse, and whether that's a toggle or holding down a button. I personally do like holding down the right click, but I am open to other options. So yeah, I should be able to be moving the mouse all around right now and it not affect the camera. I have the follow on, and then I turn the follow off. I should be able to move the mouse all around and not affect the camera. Okay? So, I think that's about it. Now, Astride does have, I like the follow. I do like the free cam. I want the controls for it to be different. And, oh man, I love the zoom. I love the scroll wheel. I actually kind of want the sensitivity up a little bit. So, major props there of fixing that. So, yeah. I hope that was a fairly concise video. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. Look at that zoom. Look at that. It's a little jerky. Horse Isle feels very smooth to me. This feels a little jerky, but I'm not going to overly complain about that. But yeah, so hopefully this video kind of explained what I like and dislike about these 4 horse games. 3 that are finished horse games and 1 that is in progress, and what I hope for this game to be, because as I've said a few times now, I think this could be it for me. Everyone wants something different out of a horse game, but potentially this game could be the ultimate horse game for myself and for my family, because of some of the planned features, the fact that it is an optional multiplayer game where my family can come and visit my ranch, or I can come visit theirs, we can go on trail rides. So, for various reasons, this is going to be a breeding game. There's going to be genetics and crossbreeding and stuff. So, for various reasons, this game could be the game that is going to be my go-to. Like right now, Horse Isle is basically my go-to because of the controls and the breeding and everything. It has most of the things that I want in a horse game, of like good controls, good breeding, and a few good gameplay elements. And I'm going to make a different video about what gameplay elements I hope will be in this. I think I've already talked a little bit about it, but I already filmed a whole video, and then I realized, wait, that was a bad video. Let me do a different one. But yeah, I'm going to talk more about what gameplay elements I hope for there to be in it, but most of the planned things are things that I think could really make this a good game. So that's why I'm making so many videos about this, talking about what my hopes and dreams for it, in the hopes that this game can be a really good game for me and my family to play. Because unfortunately, a lot of games that we do like, they have controls that break them. So, like, not an exaggeration to say controls make or break a game for me and my family. I'm sure there's other people that feel the same. There's just, like Ranch of Rivershine. I love Ranch of Rivershine so much, but the controls are so bad. They're fine. I can do it, but it strains my hand. It makes me dizzy. It's not ideal. Star Stable. I really do like Star Stable, but the camera controls kill me. I played a lot of Star Stable today, and my finger is so fatigued from having to hold down the button in order to keep the camera from moving. Okay? That is not good. That just ruins a game for me, which is so sad because Star Stable has such beautiful graphics. I know there's a lot of problems with all of these games, and people like to complain about Star Stable. Don't worry, I have my own complaints about Star Stable, Horse Isle, every game. I don't want this channel to be a drama channel. I want this to be a hopeful channel about what I'm hoping for. So, that's why I'm not going to get into, like, oh, Star Stable is ruining everything. Because, yeah, they have their problems. That's not why I don't play. Why I don't play is the controls. So, and, Horse Isle 3 is the game that has the best control systems, unfortunately, because it also has a lot of problems that do really bother me. But not problems that make it a game that is difficult to play, just things that bother me. But again, this is not a drama channel. I am not going to be going into the detail about, oh, this is 5 reasons why you shouldn't support this game or anything. That is for everyone to decide on their own and do their own research and decide if, people are, if the developers are someone whose game they want to play. And, I won't cast any judgment. I hope no one will cast any judgment on me. But again, this game, I'm hoping, might be able to replace Star Stable. No. Horse Isle 3. Star Stable doesn't really need to be replaced. It doesn't have a whole bunch of gameplay elements that I cared that much about. I really just like the pretty horses. It's more of just a collecting game for me than, a game where I actually like to do things these days. I kind of gotten where I don't even care about the quests personally. I just like to get the pretty horses every once in a while, take some pictures of them. But Horse Isle is the game that I actually play. And now I've talked for way too long about all of that, but yeah, so the reason I'm making so many videos about this game and, my complaints with it, not drama, just what I hope will be improved upon, because this is really, really early in development. I said before, I'm not sure if they're even out of pre-alpha yet. It doesn't seem to be out of pre-alpha to me, but I'm not sure if they've actually stated or not. So yeah, this is all just so that I can voice my hopes and dreams for it. Maybe the developers will listen, maybe they won't. I'm not just making these videos, I'm trying to be active in the Discord and be as, kind and helpful as I can. I know sometimes I come off as pushy and stuff, and I'm trying not to, because this is all just out of a love for what this game could be. So thank you so much for watching. Yeah. Expect a video talking more about gameplay features that I hope it will have. Like I said, I filmed a whole video about that, and then I realized, oh, I messed that video up. So I'm gonna refilm that and do better. Yeah, and this one's I'm actually gonna have to edit. Ooh, video editing. It's work. So, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope this made sense. If you have any questions, please let me know. I really hope that this made sense. I wanted to get all my thoughts down and show people what I mean when I'm talking about the controls. So yeah, I will see you in the next video.